Shalom, family. I want to address a statement that was made in the comment section in response to a video that I did when we were in Michigan, where I was talking about something that was offered to us that we don't eat, right? And the person said this in the comment section, and I find it very interesting that Christians, they have a total misunderstanding of what it means to be self-righteous, okay? The Most High has already established what righteousness is in Scripture, but let me give you the statement, though. I responded to this person. I said, so if a person offers me rat meat to eat, am I supposed to eat it? Because it was offered to me. They use the scripture where it says when you go into a person's house and they offer you meat, don't refuse it, or something like that. This person takes that to mean that whatever a person offers you, that you're supposed to eat it, as not to offend the person. Well, and then they go on to call me self-righteous, for refusing to eat something that I don't eat. Okay? Y'all Christians, y'all some funny people. Y'all are some funny people. You have no idea what self-righteousness is and what it means. If I don't eat something, I don't eat it. Okay? Just because you misunderstand scripture, don't try to project that misunderstanding onto everyone else. So again, like I said, this person goes on to say, yes, if someone, because I sarcastically responded to them and said, so if a person offers me some rat meat to eat, I'm supposed to eat it according to your understanding of scripture? And they says, yes, eat the rat meat. You see, and don't be self-righteous. Sometimes I feel sorry for Christians. Sometimes I don't, because there are some things to me that are just common sense. There are things on this earth that if you were to try to eat them, you would die just from consuming them, you see. Now, here's the understanding that many of you Christians lack and don't understand. You lack this understanding, should I say. Back then, they understood what food was and what meat was. They didn't consider the blowfish to be food, so therefore, there was no question as to whether or not if someone offers you blowfish, eat it. It was basically saying if someone was to offer you something that was considered food, something that was labeled as food, such as, let me just say lamb, goat. If someone were to offer you some goat, don't refuse it. It wasn't saying anything that someone put before you and call it meat, you're supposed to eat it. That's not what that means. So the one that I would say is self-righteous is probably you, because you have established your own righteousness. The Most High has already told us what righteousness is. And he says that our righteousness is as filthy rags. It's a filthy rag to suggest that we're supposed to just eat the rat meat because somebody put it before us. So, according to you, if I go to someone's house and I don't eat pork, and they put pork in front of me, I'm supposed to eat it? That was never considered food. The slave master forced pork upon us. And just because someone forces something upon you doesn't mean that you're supposed to eat it, and now you're supposed to consider it to be food. Now, the same person who told me just eat the rat meat and stop being self-righteous, I bet they wouldn't eat it. That's what's funny about these people, Would you eat some elephant meat just because someone prepared it for you and put it before you and called it food? You see? Self-righteousness is when a person establishes righteousness, their own righteousness, outside of what the Most High has already laid out. So if I decide to obey the scriptures, that's not me being self-righteous. That's me saying, look, I'm going to obey the righteousness of Yah and not project my own self-righteousness into the equation. I'm not going to say, look, I know Yah says this is wrong, but I say it's right. That's what self-righteousness is. Self-righteousness is when you have a way about you that don't line up with scripture, but you are trying to project it as if it is righteousness, okay? I don't want anyone to get any misunderstandings about anything. Of course, there was a time where we did eat certain things, but when you know right, you do right, okay? We had someone tell us that pork makes them sick. This is a person who was not in the truth at first, but now they are embracing the truth. And even before they started embracing this truth, they said that whenever they would eat pork, they would start getting sick. It's almost as if the Most High was doing that in preparation for them coming into the truth. That's what it seems like to me, that the Most High was getting them prepared for this. And so just because you go into someone's house and they prepare something that you don't eat, that is a bald-faced lie from the pit of hell to suggest that you are supposed to eat something that's abominable in the sight of the Most High. As a matter of fact, the scripture even talks about anyone who's found consuming or eating the mouse or the swine when the Most High returns is going to be judged. So why would he tell you, well, if someone prepares it for you, you better eat it. But if I catch you eating it and you're eating it while I'm returning, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna judge you. It's very important that we rightly divide the word. Okay, rightly dividing the scripture is very, very important, because when we go and we try to establish our own righteousness, this is why you got people dying from all kinds of foodborne illness, high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, all kinds of things. All of that stuff is high and very prevalent in the black community. But yet and still, we want to keep on pushing this narrative that you can do whatever you want to do, eat whatever you want to eat. Now, we know that we're in the land of our captivity and that some things are being tricked upon us. I'm going to say tricked and not forced, but tricked upon us. They're putting all kinds of things in all kinds of food. But yet, we want to continue down this path knowing that our loved ones are dying as a result of some of this stuff. If you know better, you do better. You can't continue down this wrong path when you know that something is wrong. When you know that something is being tricked upon you. If you know that they are putting, let me give you a good example of something. When we found out about aspartame, we were finished with aspartame. That's something that they put as a replacement or substitute for sugar to sweeten things. And when you look up aspartame and how it even came about, it's even wicked with how they created aspartame. But they were saying after aspartame was introduced to the U.S. population back in the 80s, that a lot of people started to get brain cancer, or brain tumors, should I say, as a result of consuming aspartame. And so, with knowing that information, do I go to someone's house and they prepare food and they have drinks sitting there that have aspartame in them? Do I sit there and say, well, because my guest gave it to me, I have to drink this aspartame because I don't want to offend them? Do you understand how foolish that sounds? Come on, people, get a grip. I know Christianity is one heck of a drug to get over, but you're going to have to wean yourself off of this drug. I know you might be going through some withdrawals, but the things that you were taught in Christianity are lies. And therefore, when you know the truth, you'll be free. You gotta be willing to accept the truth and stop trying to project your Christianity or your Christian sickness on other people. Look, I've been delivered from it, and I'm not going back. Okay? If I go to somebody's house and they want to give me some drinks with aspartame and they want to give me some pork chops and ham and all of this other stuff, I'm not going to sit there and eat it. I don't care what anyone says. So, I'm probably not going to convince the person who made the comment, because it takes divine intervention, or it takes sickness to overcome your body for some of us before we finally realize that there's something to this dietary law thing. It is something to it. We can't do what we want to do. And of course, we are still trying to wean ourselves off of things that we buy from the stores, things that these heathens are putting together for us. We're trying to wean ourselves off. It takes time, because you have to be able to grow enough food and raise your own livestock, grow your own herbs and things of that nature to really truly be off of this stuff. And it does take time, but that is the goal. That is the goal. I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. I just want our people to stay encouraged, and don't make excuses for doing things and using your misunderstanding of scripture, saying that Christ, this person, another person in that same comment section said something about Christ doing away with the law so that we don't have to abide by that anymore. So basically what you're saying, okay, let's get off of the dietary thing. I know I said I'm going to end this video, but let's forget about the dietary thing. Okay, one aspect of the law was that thou shalt not kill. So are you saying now, because Christ, as you call him, has done away with the law, that we are now free to kill? Is that what you're saying? Are you now saying that we are free to commit fornication and adultery because Christ has done away with the law? Are you saying that now you're free to sleep with animals if you want to because Christ has done away with the law? Come on now. Get an understanding. The scripture says, in all thy getting, get understanding. I'm finished now. I'm sure there's a whole lot more I can say, but I really wanted to just address that comment to this person who wants to call me self-righteous because I refuse to eat something that the Most High says is an abomination. With that, I will say shalom to my people.